everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Pittsburgh Sports Castle Podcast. I'm your host, I'm Rachael Kriger, and today we have a really cool show because we have some special guests coming on, so we pre-recorded the show, so I will be playing it right after this little introduction I'm doing, but we are joined by University of Pittsburgh women's soccer forward Leah Pais and defender Kate McKay. Leah is a sophomore. She transferred from Albany, and she was immediately a starter on the team. Kate McKay, one of the captains. She is a junior, and she's a rock for the defense. And so we're really excited about it. We have a great show. So sit back, enjoy, and here we go, live with Kate McKay and Leah Pais. Enjoy. Welcome and thank you to Kate McKay and Leah Pais for joining us. How are you guys doing today?
I'm good. It's a busy day. We've been running and stuff, and it's quite cold here.
I currently just finished one of my exams, so I'm kind of relieved and then a little tired, but day goes on.
What kind of exam did you have today?
I finished world history. So.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's very specific and very interesting.
Yes. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys for joining the show today. Really appreciate it. This was a really exciting year for Pitt women's soccer for you guys in general. So I guess just to start off, what were your general thoughts on the season and what you guys accomplished with 9 wins and 5 losses? It's a really great record.
I personally think that this was just like one of our breakout years. We just scratched the surface of our potential, and it was just good from a building standpoint because now this is what we expect. We expect to win. We hate to lose. So with all the new girls coming in, we're just going to keep digging at more and more wins, and we're going to hate the loss feeling, and that's just going to fuel the fire even more, and you're going to see some pretty awesome Pitt Panthers. So.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It was a very great year for us, and I think that we're being taken more seriously in the ACC, and obviously 9 wins, that's great. But the 5 losses, I think every single one of us could, look around and be like, we deserve to win that game or we deserve to get a result out of that game. So while the record is great, we still have a lot to work on, and I think we're all ready for next year already. So.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously this was a really unusual season, I guess, to say the least. So I kind of just want to go through a timeline. Just first and foremost, the fact that you guys got the news that you were able to play, what was the excitement like? And honestly, how relieved were you about the eligibility rules too, with the NCAA saying, hey, you guys can have an extra year because of, all the chaos this year?
We were ecstatic. We're one of the top conferences in all of D1 soccer, and to actually get the chance to play for free and not get a year off our eligibility. It was actually a really, really good feeling because we could go out, we could see how this team was doing. We could, try some different things, see what we could work on or see what we're already good at. So I feel like it was just a good experimental year almost to see where we're at.
Yeah, and even though we do get this year back, I don't know, for one of my best friends is a senior, Dixon Beltry, she was this is my senior year, we need to take this seriously, and all of us really did take it seriously, even if it doesn't count, even if we might not even have an NCAA tournament. We all really took it seriously, and we're playing games and we're going to win these games whether they count or not. They count for us, they count right now. So it was definitely very exciting to be able to play, and looking at our friends across the country who still haven't played a game in over a year, we were so lucky, and we're obviously very thankful for everyone trying to keep everyone safe. So we're very thankful for that opportunity.
Yeah. And you guys had a stretch of, I think, 4 home games at one point, but there was a lot of different road travel because of some teams that you usually play against weren't playing and whatnot. So just from a travel perspective, what was it like going to these different places and, being able to play against these teams that you might not have played before to, kind of measure up with and test yourself before heading into the ACC?
We had a 14-hour bus ride one direction to play the Citadel. That was interesting. I don't think I've ever sat with my teammates for more than 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. So that was very interesting. But we played like the Navy and the Citadel, so 2 like military teams, and they were tough and very good. Like not just test your game, but to prove that we can play outside the ACC and still compete. And they were like very strong teams, and it was definitely worth the travel, worth going all the way down there and playing them. And we have a lot of respect for both those teams. So.
I'd say like definitely playing teams outside of the ACC, you get teams that have different styles, different kinds of players, different attributes of the game. So it's just basically showcasing the whole world of soccer and how there can be different styles played, but they can still kick your butt at the same time. So it was good to get a little bit of exposure to that because we need to adjust our game, definitely with the Citadel. With Navy too, like we also need to play quicker, just to have a little bit more mind on the game. So it was really good. Few games that just gave us new experiences.
When you guys got into the ACC play, I'm pretty sure I can answer this question because I know Randy pretty well. But what was Coach Waldrop's kind of, I guess, advice to you guys heading into the ACC play? Obviously when you're playing teams like Citadel and Navy, it's still, you want to get out there, you want to win, but then you're playing in the ACC and you're playing those conference games. So when you guys were in that home stretch and everybody's tired and everybody's over COVID-19, what was kind of his message to you guys to keep you motivated?
I don't think we ever really were at that point in the season where we were like tired or, not wanting to play. I think when we were on the road for so long, we were looking forward to being home. We were looking forward to like protecting, Ambrose Urbanek. Like we play so well at home. We always compete well at home, whether we have fans or not, we're playing for our city. On our field, you literally look and you see the city of Pittsburgh, and that's what we represent. That's who we play for. So, I mean, as much as like when so for example, I played in the ACC last year, and last year was my first year. And I just looked at the people around me who've played in it before, and I was like, you guys are what I'm looking for. You guys are who I'm playing for right now. Like, I might be nervous. I might, be looking at a girl that I've looked up to for 3 years in the ACC. She's going pro next year, and I'm playing against her right now. But none of that matters because when you get on the field, everyone's the same. Whether you're playing an ACC team or you're playing, someone that's in a D3 conference, like, it doesn't matter because the game's the game. Anyone can be anyone, and you just need to bring your best in every moment. So, yeah.
Yeah, like definitely playing at home. It was just a sense of like you need to protect what's ours. And so every home game we went into it like this is our field. There's not going to be a loss on this field. And definitely the mindset of going into every game was this game counts. And so if you win this game, you get to play more. If you don't, then you'll only have limited games left this season. So, yeah.
Yeah. You brought up the crowd and the fans. So, Leah, I'm going to go to you for a minute. I mean, what a year for it to be your first year and you don't experience that atmosphere. Obviously that's something Kate has experienced. I call the game, so I've been able to be like, it literally rocks in the press box when the Panthers score. It's kind of nerve-wracking. But, coming into this year as a first year Panther, second year in college, just what was it like? Obviously joining a new team is always very exciting, could be a little bit nerve-wracking, but what was just kind of your feel with joining the Panthers?
So when I came on my official, I like instantly fell in love with everything. Kate was on my official actually, and we were eating together, and I picked a shrimp and it completely like flew in her plate. And I go, oh my God, like this is embarrassing. I'm coming to this team and I just flung a shrimp tail at her. Like, what is going on? But like everyone just laughed it off, and it was kind of the environment that I was looking for, something positive, something encouraging, friendships stronger than ever, built on more than just the game of soccer. And that's what drew me in. And so coming here, looking at all these girls and going on the practice field and seeing like the battle, seeing that you're actually sweating now and you're like competing for spots. It's exactly the environment I want to be in. And the level of competitiveness, as well as hunger and support from each other, it's just the perfect environment to be in if you want to take your game to the next level. So I completely fell in love with everything, and the girls especially, they're what make it. Like they make the experience. So
Yeah, and to kind of go off of that, how much did you rely on players like Kate, like Amanda West, and those people who were returning to kind of get you settled in a very unpredictable and crazy year? And what was just kind of some of those players' advice to you? And then Kate, if you want to share what advice you kind of gave Leah, go for it.
So coming in, I actually knew Amanda West and about like some of the Canadians because we played together on the provincial team. But when I came in, it wasn't just like the Canadians. It was like Kate who reached out, Kate Lazzarini, the goalkeeper. She's like, hey, like if you ever need anything, I'm here. She actually asked me if I wanted to come stay. And I go, wow, like I don't think I received this treatment at Albany at all. So just coming in and having so many options and so many people for support, whether it be like blankets or bed sheets or, like just necessities. It was just a really nice feeling to know that I'm somewhere where I'm 110% supported all the times. And, as Amanda being a captain, Dixon and Kate, they're the ones reaching out more so because they feel as if it's their job to take in the new girls or take in the freshies and really show them what this program is about and make their experience a good one, because college is like one hell of an experience. You're never going to get it again in your life. And so if you're a captain, it's your job to really make sure that other girls' experiences are just as fun as yours,
Yeah, Kate, what kind of advice did you give Leah and these other younger players? Like Leah just said, you were one of the 3 captains this year too. So congrats on that.
Thank you. Well, I knew what it was like when I was a freshman and I was playing my first college game, or when I was playing my first ACC match. Like I was so nervous, and you're playing against, like I said, girls that you've seen before. Like some of these girls, like the names, like, and they're being called up to national teams, or they're leaving to be drafted early, and like they've made a name for themselves, and you're kind of like, am I good enough to be here? Like, are you guys sure? Am I playing? Like, what's going on? And it's very nerve-wracking, and you kind of have to look at yourself, and you're like, I wake up every day, I go to my classes every day just like they do, I put my shoes on, I go to practice, like I'm here, we're literally about to play for 90 minutes, like what makes her any different than me? And that's the kind of mentality you have to have. Like there's 1 ball, there's 2 goals, like I'm not letting them score on me, and I'm sure as heck gonna score on them. And that's something you have to you have within yourself, and you lean on your teammates for. And I know when I spoke to freshmen about their first game starting, I just told them, I was like, complete your passes, do your job, don't worry about anyone but yourself and your team, and everything's going to take care of itself, because all you can do is control you and play the best game that you can possibly play. So when you start thinking about other people, you're not going to do a good job. And I know when I was speaking to Leah, I knew she had huge pressure on her because she was brought in to score a bunch of goals, and obviously she did. But I just had to keep reminding her, you're here for a reason, you're picked for a reason, you're scoring goals for a reason, believe in yourself, because we all believe in you, we all know that you can do this, you have to know yourself. And at the end of the day, that's what she did. She scored some pretty amazing goals, and thankfully scored off some of my passes, so thank you for that.
A good partnership there for sure that will blossom throughout the year. Got some quick hit ones for you guys. I'm so sporadic, so I apologize in advance, but it just whatever comes in goes. So Kate, you played with Amaya Pena for a year, and then she graduates and she goes to Athletic Club over in Spain, and then here comes Kat Robinson and Kate Lazzarini. And obviously they would split the reps in practice and whatnot. I believe Kat and Caitlin both got a little bit of time in net last year during games. But what was it like kind of doing that switch as a defender, having a new goalkeeper behind you? And then to add on to that, what was it like when Kat had her injury and then you had to switch to Caitlin's style?
Well, in the back line and stuff, me and both trust both Laz and Kat, with our lives, literally, we both trust them so much. We see the work that they do in practice, and they're both amazing goalkeepers, and they have their own strengths individually. But Kat is one of my best friends. So her injury was something that I can't really say personally affected me, but it took a lot out of me, because, she's a huge reason why, I don't want to let any shots off. I slide tackle to make her job easy. But then at the end of the day, I want to do that for everyone. I care about me and Laz, just the same way that I care about Kat. and I want to make her job as easy as possible too. So the switch wasn't really difficult. It's just more about like knowing your player, knowing like who you can let shoot, who you can't let shoot, who you need to talk for, who you don't need to talk for. So it was more of a mental, like tactical switch rather than like an emotional switch for me, because at the end of the day, like we can't be letting goals in, and that's all we all want to do in the back line and as a goalkeeper. So it was an easy thing to do, but definitely took a game or two.
And for the both of you, what's it like playing with Amanda West? I mean, she is so good and scores all of these ridiculous goals. She's the team leader in points, and she's only a sophomore. And what does she do to help make you guys better in terms of a leadership factor as well, since she is one of those other captains?
Just her passion and love for the game is enough to encourage other girls to want to be like her. Her hunger on the field, her desire to get the ball in the back of the net, it's just something that's unmatched. And so girls have slowly started to have that desire. I know some of the other freshmen really, really look up to her. And they're like, wow, like I genuinely want to be her. And I'm like, you just need to put the work in on and off the field. You need to have your mentality straight. You got to put the hard work in too, as well as just want to be better, want to go that extra mile and go to the next level. So I think me playing with her, I'm used to her, but just seeing some of the other girls and they're like, wow, like she really just dribbled through 4 girls and put the ball in the back of the net against Clemson. So, it's honestly just amazing to watch her prosper, and she's only a sophomore. So I look forward to seeing her on the national team, definitely, as well as either playing in the NWSL or in Europe.
Yeah, and like as someone who captained with her and Dixon, like we all kind of like were like we all had our own specific things that we do as captains, and Amanda definitely is someone who just like you just look at her and you're like, okay, that's what I want to do, especially as a forward. And like you watch her play, she's so humble, has such a great passion for the game, as like Leah said. And at the end of the day, like she does it for us. Like she doesn't do it for herself. She really doesn't like the cameras. She doesn't like the videos. Like she doesn't really like any of it. She just likes to score goals and, play for Pitt. And that's something that like, if I look at that and I'm just like, yeah, like that's what I want to do too. Like I want to play for Pitt. Like, and I'm sure like she's helped recruiting so much, because girls look at her and they go, wow, this program's going somewhere, and I can see individual and team growth. And like, she's literally just like, there's a reason why she's like the face of Pitt women's soccer. Is like that's literally what we want to be, is a freaking Amanda West. So
that is a great slogan, and they really need to market around that. So we've mentioned Dixon a lot. She's your lone senior, and Kate, you just said she's one of your really good friends. From the both of you, what's your favorite thing about Dixon Veltri as a soccer player and as a person?
I definitely have to say, because she's a captain and a senior, like just her attitude when she doesn't start and when she gets on the field, she doesn't care about that. She just comes on, she does her job, and she walks off with a smile, knowing that she gave it her all. And I think that's one of the best things that I've ever seen of a soccer player. I rarely see that of girls. They get up, like they don't start and they're grumpy, or they don't start and they're like, oh, damn, like, I got to give up now because I'm not good enough apparently. But just her passion to keep going and like her drive and mentality, it's something that's honestly unmatched, I think, in all of Division I soccer. So just looking at her and seeing how happy she is in any situation and always wants the best and will give her best is just truly an amazing sight.
Yeah, I wrote like 23 on my arm. That's her number, like every single game. And like I like made this as a joke, like Dixon Veltri is my favorite soccer player. Like, can I have your autograph? Like, I love her so much. And when I first came to Pitt, like we both transferred from the CAA, and that's like one of the first things we had in common. We were both like, oh my gosh, it's like CAA to ACC, like this is crazy. And we both kind of like created a bond over being like kind of like sleeper players, like people who will go into the game and like make an impact, but like you'll kind of be like, what was the change? And then you'll look and you'll be like, oh, Dixon's on. Like she does the simple things really, really well. And like Leah said, she's so positive, and she's such a positive person in my life, like on and off the field. And like I'm going to her like house with her family for Thanksgiving, and I just like can't thank her enough for everything she's done, not just for the program, but for like all of the girls. Like she's the perfect captain. Like she's approachable. She's someone who works hard. You want to run next to her. She's someone every single rep takes it seriously. And at the end of the day, like, she's going to go so far in life. Like, she is going to have such a wonderful life because of who she is as a person, not just as a soccer player. So I love her.
That's great. I had no idea you wrote 23 on your wrist for the games and stuff. I will have to keep an eye on that when I look at the replays and stuff. You guys had a lot of really young players on your team step in and make an immediate impact. Two names that come to mind pretty earlier, Emily Yapel and Chloe Minas. Just what can you say about the freshmen on this team and, you know, how quickly they adapted? I know Chantel Parker got a lot of minutes too. I'm probably missing a few, so I'll be sure to acknowledge them in the show notes, but just what have you guys seen from the freshmen that really impresses you this year?
Honestly, they're like, just when they get on the field, they have one task and one task only. Don't let the ball get behind them and make sure you do your job well. So I think Chloe and Emily really did that well in the midfield this year. You know, Emily was hustling left, right, and center. Chloe was there covering ground from like doing suicides back and forth. So they both just took on the responsibility. They were honored to be freshmen and starting on an ACC team. So they really took that job and they, you know, just did the best that they could, as well as Chantel. Chantel, although she didn't score, she still gave it her all. She still helped attack in the front three, and it was really nice to play with all three Canadians up front. So we just have that type of chemistry, you know. But no, the freshmen did take their job well, and they were honored to do it.
Yeah. And like when people say like, oh, you guys have so much youth in your team, you guys have inexperience, as if that's a bad thing, as if, you know, having all these players who are hungry and ready to fight and ready to prove themselves is a bad thing. Because like you look at someone who's 18 and they've just fought for their spot and they're hungry, I would take that over a player who like doesn't care and who just is there and like has been given something. Like these girls fought, like the freshmen fought and beat out other players on our team. And, you know, they had a direct impact because they weren't just good in club or in high school. You know, they brought their skill, they brought their impact to the highest level. And at the end of the day, like, I don't care if you're a freshman, I don't care if you're a senior, if you're doing your job well and you're on the field, like, you've earned respect. And, like, that's what those girls did. Like, if it's Emily, if it's Chloe getting 90 minutes, or, you know, if it's, like, Hannah Nitsch coming in and being a bulldozer for 10 minutes, like, they all had an impact. They all had a role. And we all of us were very appreciative of them because we were like, we need you. Like, this new era needs you. Like, don't come in and think that you're not going to play, because you're going to. And when your number gets called, like Tyler says, you need to be ready, and all of them are ready. So.
And what makes Randy such a good recruiter in bringing these players along? And, you know, obviously he recruited you, Leah, and Kate, he recruited you, right? Correct?
Yeah.
What makes him such a good recruiter and honestly just such a good coach for you guys?
He makes you feel very special. Like, that is something that when I came to Pitt, I was like, I'm special. Wow. Like, you like me, you want me, like, this is crazy. And he speaks about the program. He speaks about the dreams of the program. He speaks so highly of everyone around him, and he's just inspiring. And when it comes to like a coach like that, you know, he really believes in us. He's not like looking elsewhere. He sees what he has and he wants to make it work. And, you know, when it comes to his coaching style, you know, he doesn't really yell at us. He doesn't get mad at us. It's like very inspiring and very like impactful. Like, if you're doing something wrong, he'll tell you how to do it right. And if you're doing something right, he'll tell you that you're doing it right. So it's very direct and straightforward. And some people really like that. And at the end of the day, like, I just think he's a very inspiring person. He's made me realize, like, I want to go pro. He's made me realize, like, I want to be the best athlete and best soccer player that I can be. And then off the field, be a good person at the same time. So just a very inspiring human being, the whole coaching staff are.
Yeah, no, 100%. I like the fact that he tells me how it is. And so I've always been the player who would prefer a lot of bad news so I can go and turn that into good news, right? So I came to him a few times this season and I'm like, Randy, like, I'm not the player you recruited. I don't know what's wrong. And he goes, Leah, I have no doubt in your talent. Your physicality, yeah, you need to improve that. You know, and then from there, you'll see the difference, right? And I go, yeah, like 100%. Like, spring season, I'm coming in and like, I'm just gonna be that different player. And so it's like he believes in you because he brought you here, and so he will tell you what you need to work on, and just to make that happen and actually get the change and to see him smile because you did what he asked for and you're the player that he brought in, it's honestly just an amazing feeling. So
yeah, when he gives you the little pat on the back, that's when you know he does something good. He's like, yeah. In his little accent, he's like, good job. And I'm just like, yeah, that's great.
Randy does have the best accent in the world. I always mess with him because I covered him when he was with the Houston Dash, and I always say, you've picked up a little bit of Texas in you, Randy, and you're bringing it to Pittsburgh.
Yes.
So, yeah, he's amazing. He cracks me up all the time. And he called me mate one time, and I was like, who are you? What have you done with Randy? Yeah, he's great. Sometimes I have to sit back and think about that. Like, wow, okay, yeah, he coached at Notre Dame. He had all of that ridiculous collegiate experience. But then I look at his Wikipedia page and I see Houston Dash, Trinidad and Tobago, all this stuff. And, Kate, you just said that he made you realize you want to go pro. So for the both of you, is that something, obviously you're focused on Pitt right now. Do you guys want to go pro one day? And if so, what's the dream for Kate McKay and Leah Pais?
So like as a center back, I just realized like there's something about playing soccer that I want to take as far as possible. And when I like first got to college, I was just like, and then when I came to Pitt, I realized like if I keep working and if I keep listening to people like Randy, like Ben, and other coaches in the ACC, I could really have something, and I don't want to just throw it away because it could be difficult. And over like the past 2 years and over, even the break right now, I've just been listening to what people have been saying, like reviewing film and trying to figure out what I can do to like be the best possible athlete and player I can, so that when the time does come for me to go pro, whether I can go pro and like play in the NWSL, which is the dream, or go play overseas in like the W League or something, I can be ready for it. And, being a pro athlete, like they say, like you need to act like it right now. So I'm trying my best to, eat the way that I need to eat and hydrate the way that I need to hydrate and, take care of my body and take care of my mind, take care of, all of these things that all of these great pro athletes, especially female pro athletes, do. And, speaking to a couple of them recently about, like what their process was, they kind of have similar things. Like, you need to start acting like a professional athlete right now if you want that to happen in a year or 2 years. So that is hopefully the dream, and hopefully it comes true, but it has to come with hard work. So
no, definitely everything that Kate said. Soccer is like my life. It's what defines me. It's what people think of when they hear Leah Pais. And so I like have to continue it. And so going and playing in Europe has always been like my dream. Just because it's bigger too, you know what I'm saying? But I recently learned about the NWSL when I came to the States. So now that I have two options and, 2.5 years to make that happen, it's definitely something that I'm just going to be looking forward to every single day of training, or whether I'm off the field, whether I'm running. It's just going to be that one goal that I will slowly get closer to when putting in the hard work, or when there's 10 minutes left into overtime and I'm like, damn, like, this could be me in 2 years, and what would I do? So I got to get it done right now and, just let the rest settle for itself.
Who are some of the soccer players right now that are playing currently that you guys look up to? Leah, you just said you're kind of new to the NWSL, but Kate, I'm assuming you've tuned in a few times before. Just who are some of these players that really stand out to you that you try to model your game after?
So I like Julie Johnson is from Arizona. She played for the same club coach that I played for in the same club. So I've known about her for a very long time. She is my idol. I love that woman. She's just everything I want to be. Like, she's so strong and on and off the field. Like, she just is like, that's what I think about. And that's who I try to model my game after. She's, very strong in the tackle, but she's a player maker. And Samantha Kerr, she just has so much fun, and she has such a passion for the game, and she is just like a little ball of energy. I think I would have an aneurysm if I had to defend her, but hopefully that day will come and I have to, get megged by her or something. And then Rachael Daly, she is just like, when I watch her play, she gets so into it. She's so passionate. She gets like frustrated. She'll yell, but then she celebrates, and she's so clinical and perfect. Like, and when she makes mistakes, she'll get back and hustle. And like, I've heard there's that video of her with the 2 beers, and I'm just like, I want that to be me so bad.
Yes.
I like those three girls for each of their own specific reasons, and just, you know, who they stand for in female sports, and, you know, making a name for female sports and making people want to watch them, because I want to watch them. I'm like, why don't you want to watch these girls? Like, they're freaking badass. So, but yeah, those 3 girls, if I could ever meet them and play against them, my life, I could die right there.
Well, talk to Randy about Rachel Daly. I mean, he drafted her, so
I know.
There's your connection. Leah, I'm sure Christine Sinclair's at the top of your list, right?
Yeah, she definitely was. Growing up, it was just all her. I would go tune into Canadian national soccer when it was World Cup, and you'd be like, damn, she's still going and she's still putting balls in the back of the net. But as I grew older, I started to get more exposure to players. And I don't know if you would know of her, but her name is Jordan Witema. She is the 19-year-old Canadian player who's actually playing for PSG, and she's playing full-time. So seeing her from such a young age prosper and just build her own pathway and go straight to the league, it's something I wanted to do. And I'm like, damn, I'm really doing the opposite of her. I'm going to college, into my stuff, and she's already there. So, that was very inspiring, just to see how females as young as me can go and do that just like guys. As well as Marta, the Brazilian. She's always been someone I've looked up to. Every single Women's World Cup or Men's World Cup, Brazil has always been my go-to. I just love the creativity. I love how, just from my background, how they go and they pick up the ball on the street, and that's how they learn, right? So being so close to their backgrounds and how they started just kind of makes me feel warm about the game. And so seeing her and all she's done for the game, and the creativity, the devotion to the game, as well as what she's leaving behind, it's really just nice to see female athletes like that, because as we get older, they're slowly going to start to leave the game, and it's who else will come and take their spot? Who's going to leave a legacy like that? Who's going to, be the next Marta? So I've just always had it out for players that are willing to leave such a strong legacy behind.
And I'm glad you said Jordan, because I knew about her. I never knew how to say her last name, though.
I've always pronounced it Haidama, but apparently it's Witema. Yeah,
that's all you, because I'm probably gonna just still say Haidama unless I'm ever calling a game like that. Then maybe I'll get it right. But for the purpose of just writing it on Twitter, I'll just say it in my phone as that. But I guess to leave off, ladies, just 2 kind of quick hitters. What would you say to people who are just finding Pitt women's soccer for the first time, and why they should keep watching you? And then obviously we have no idea what's going to happen in the spring, but what's kind of your goal should there be a spring season for you guys personally and for the team?
Definitely to see major improvements in fitness, because in the spring, it's run, and you got to build your body up. So definitely to build your body like a machine, to be able to run 90 minutes and win the games that we will play in the spring are definitely the goals for, I know, 100% of the girls on the team. So, I'm sorry for the noise in the background. But yeah, just go out there, give it our best, and hopefully for the fall show other teams that we're not here to mess around no more. We got the talent we need, and we're ready to go and kick some ACC butt.
Yeah, and if you're just discovering Pitt soccer, welcome, first of all. We are the best of the best. And if you're from Pittsburgh, what have you been doing, and why have you been supporting us? But I think we saw it from last year and from this year, we have made strides in 2 years what some teams took 10 years to make. And I just remember Clemson was saying you guys almost had us there. We just did what you guys did, and we had to do it over 10 years. And I was just we were in overtime with you last year and this year. I was we'll see you next year. We'll come over here. We'll see what happens. We'll see you then. Make sure you're ready. But for spring, if there's an NCAA tournament, we want to be in the NCAA tournament. We deserve to be in that tournament. We went 9-5. we won games that we weren't supposed to win. We lost games that we should have won. Like, and if you watch the games, you guys can see that we fought every single minute. We were in every single one of those games. And we have so much to prove still. And with 9 wins, like, we're just like, stay tuned. Like, that's just the beginning. Like, 9 wins is just the beginning. So hopefully in the spring, like, we'll do everything we need to do over the break and over the, first couple months. But then when games start, you guys are going to see, even those months, we're going to make huge strides. And I'm so excited to see, like, what we do. And, all of the girls make huge improvements, because I know that we can. And, we're like, all of us individually working, if we all get better, we'll all be better in the end.
Well, a big thank you to Kate and Leah for joining us on the show. It was a really good time. I was so happy to talk to them. And, like they both said there at the end, if you're in Pittsburgh, please support Pitt women's soccer. Of course, support men's soccer as well. They made it to the final and fell 2-1 to Clemson, but a great season by them and a great season by Pitt women's soccer, a 9-5 record season. So, yeah, for sure, follow them. And we're going to have another guest from the Pitt women's soccer team coming on the show in about a week, maybe 2 weeks. We pre-recorded that a couple of days ago as well, so stick around for that. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I will hint it is one of the goalkeepers, so keep that in mind. Thanks. And of course, as always, please rate, review, and subscribe to our show, the Pittsburgh Sports Castle Podcast. Forgive me, I am pulling up my notes at the end for what I usually say, and pulling up our Twitter pages. We're on Twitter at PGH Sports Castle, and we're on all major platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Be sure to check us out by searching our name. And we're also on Google Podcasts, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and of course Spreaker, where we record our shows. If you have any ideas or podcast prompts, topics, feel free to reach out to members of our team and our Pittsburgh Sports Castle Twitter to send some ideas along. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.